they've split. It's 7 months after the Fury and Wilder rematch. I don't know. Wilder's confusingly silent after the rematch. It seemed like he kept himself behind closed doors, away from all criticism. Didn't really take to social media at all. Breland actually got put in quite a good light by the boxing community. And split. So, yeah.
I think Wilder was embarrassed after that fight. He got brutally exposed. He had no answers. Forget the fact that he claimed his legs were dead. His legs might have been dead, but he still didn't have any answers. He wasn't being asked to run or dance. He was being asked to just move his feet. He didn't try and claim Fury. He didn't try and show anything clever or anything smart. He seemed to get nothing from the corner, Breland or Diaz. They were like they were in shock. And I was only 12, 15 feet from them. I was looking at their eyes, and their eyes from midway through the first round, they were like they were in absolute and complete and utter shock, shell-shocked, if anything. They didn't know where they were. You see people, that have been given some awful news, and they're just a look about them. They don't know what's going on. That's what they were like in that corner. Wilder, when he analyses it, he'll be looking at that going, oh, no, oh, no, oh, no. And that's why I think we heard little from him. Plus, he probably, Shelley Finkel said, keep your head down. You got beat. You'll come back, but just keep your head down for a minute. On the night, the treatment of Breland was savage. He was left isolated outside the changing room, sitting out.
Those are the words from Steve Bunce, which was a very informative interview. I'll leave the link below. Let you guys check it out. Steve Bunce was there that night. And he's a UK broadcaster, commentator, etc. And he, of course, you heard him reveal the look on Mark Breland in JD's face. And they couldn't believe what was going on. They couldn't believe what was going on. And they were in utter shock. Now, this shines a light on Wilder getting rid of Mark Breland. And it goes back to what you practice in training versus what you do on the night of the fight. See, it all goes back to what you were trained to do, following a game plan. And we look at both fights and compare both fights. They were both pretty much the same way. The only difference was Fury. Like Bunce mentioned, Wilder didn't show us anything. If it was his legs were shot because of whatever reason. Okay, we're not even going to go into the rumors. But if his legs were shot, he didn't show anything else. Okay, he didn't show us that he can adapt in a situation where he was tested. Okay? He didn't show us that. Now, Wilder showed us that he was tough. He's always been a tough guy. But he also showed you that he can be hurt. He showed me that the first fight. And he showed me that he not only that he can be hurt once he gets hurt in that particular manner. And it's hard for him to, and if he doesn't throw and land that shot, anything's possible to happen from the other fighter. Okay, so on top of that, Steve Bunce said that Wilder was embarrassed. And this is pretty much the first time I heard someone explain it like that. Is Steve Bunce biased? It's easy for you to say that because he's from the UK, go figure. But let's think about it. When have you seen Deontay Wilder this quiet ever? You've never seen him this quiet throughout his whole career. And you're going to tell me out of the whole 41, 42 fights, he loses a fight and then he gets quiet. Lance Pugmire says, oh, it's a mental thing. Well, you know what else is also a mental thing, or not really a mental disorder, but definitely something that you think about how a person feels. Embarrassed. I've been embarrassed of things that I've done along with you guys. Maybe this was an embarrassing moment for him. Think about what I'm saying. You talk about a guy that can't punch, You said he has feathers for fists, right? Feather duster. Walk right through the punches, right? On Black History Month, made these high claims, said what he was going to do, turn this guy into a Black History trivia question. Go in there, only to go in there and get beat up like you did, like he did. Embarrassed. Is that the word for Wilder? Well, it's definitely something you can think about. You know, until he tells you otherwise, and he has came out, 4 months ago, and said that he didn't feel that Tyson Fury felt like a champion, but then he still stayed quiet. He did say his piece, he spoke his piece, so he really talked maybe 3 times in the last 6 months. I'm sorry, 8, 9 months. But compare what he's decided to say to what he did in the past is strange. On the volume of the things that he had to say, I mean, he's still on Instagram. He didn't pull a Jarrell Miller for a point and snatch his stuff off of Instagram. He didn't do any of that. He just didn't post anything. And if he did, it was things of his family and those type of things like that, him dancing and all that and twerking. But those things, other than the fight, he kept his head down. Could he have been embarrassed? There's a huge possibility, because, I mean, there is really nothing to say. Now, add the other rumors that was created, you know, Glovegate and the Alphabet channels and the LDB, all those guys. Those things were applied, and he allowed those to be applied because maybe he's trying to hide the fact that he's embarrassed. Maybe. Because, obviously, Wilder said that he didn't feel Tyson Fury was a champion. He didn't feel that he was a true champion, right? He don't feel like a champion. That was his words. Well, obviously from him saying that lets us know that if he is embarrassed, he doesn't want people to know he's embarrassed, right? So what's the better way to allow people that you weren't embarrassed? Let other people say that other guy cheated you, and you not say anything, but you have the power to say, or say or whatever. Do whatever you feel you need to do for your name's sake. You have that power. You have power to stop people from saying certain things. Okay? And there's certain people I can't even speak to no more because he said, no, we're going to shut it down. There's no more talking about anything. But is he 100% embarrassed? He could be. I would believe that over a damn mental disorder. Right? If you had to pick one, does he have a mental disorder due to the loss, or he's embarrassed? I would pick embarrassed. Or, like Steve Bunce said, which I'm agreeing with, maybe Shelly Finkel told him, hey, don't say shit, Deontay. Keep your head low. Focus on the third fight. Focus on that. Don't say anything that could... Just don't say anything. So maybe he was just using the instructions of his management, which is Shelly Finkel. That's really the main man in charge above, of course, Mr. Al Heyman. So maybe that's the case. But counterpunching what Steve Bunce said in regards to the trainers and how they looked, he said JD's didn't know anything. He was in shock. And they had no answer for Deontay. If that's the case, people, if those two trainers were in shock, both of them, that lets you know that Mark Breland did the right thing by stopping the fight. Because if they were shocked on what was going on, they didn't have instruction to guide Deontay on further, why the hell would JD say, keep the fight going? That makes no sense. So someone with sense had to come through and call and pull rank. You see what I'm saying? Because if they were, mouth dropped, can't believe what they're seeing, Their fighter keeps taking punishment. Their fighter keeps getting dropped. And if he's not getting dropped, he's falling around all over the place. He's not defending himself. He's really not throwing punches. What the fuck do you supposed to do? If they're like, huh? Want to stop the fight? No, keep going. You know what I mean? That makes no sense. So based on this guy was there looking at this guy and seeing their reactions from what was going on in the ring. And he was looking like, damn, you guys are like fans now. Because you're not giving instruction. So the best instruction that you can give, since someone that doesn't fucking listen to his trainer, which is Wilder, stop the fight. He's not prepared for this particular fighting style that Tyson Fury's implemented in his game plan, in his arsenal. Okay? That was that. But was he embarrassed? That's a very, very high, strong possibility. But anyway, that's my counterpunch on that. You guys tell me what you think about Steve Bunce and his theory. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunching. Peace.